One of the most memorable moments in gaming is reaching the climactic end of a story-driven adventure. The Legend of Zelda series is no stranger to these amazing finales, from the cinematic fight against the demon dragon in Tears of the Kingdom, to the elegant duel against the fearsome Ganondorf in Twilight Princess. These final boss fights have never been known to be particularly difficult, but they still are remembered and beloved by the fanbase because of how they make the player feel. Majora might freak you out. Demise intimidates you. But of all of the series' amazing final boss fights, Ocarina of Time's iteration of Ganon, even after all of these years, still evokes the most courage from the player. After Ganondorf's embarrassing defeat atop his castle, he decides to make one final play. With a shout and a burst of light, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf appear on the roof as the tower begins to crumble. Ganondorf collapses, and Zelda hurries to rush Link and herself out of the castle as it begins to fall apart around the two. Upon reaching the floor level and exiting the castle, Link turns and watches the entire fortress fall to ruin, with Ganondorf still inside. It's finally over. After 7 years of suffering, Hyrule can finally return to another period of peace. Then, there's a shift in the rubble. When Ganondorf reappears, changing form into the formidable beast Ganon, it's frightening. Not only does he now look unstoppable, he also feels unstoppable. As a kid, playing this game for the first time, it shocked me to see the King of Evil return once again, even stronger than before. Video games today are filled with multi-stage boss fights, but for the time, seeing Ganon return only moments after being defeated in his castle was something else. He's truly relentless, and now desperate to retrieve the Triforce pieces from Link and Zelda, adding to his terrifying nature. This escalates further, and this dread he calls upon is reinforced as he removes the one tool I had relied on through the entire adult half of the game, the Master Sword. No longer can Link just swing his blade at the enemy and reach victory. Instead, the player must stand courageous and adapt, using some other tool in Link's vast late-game arsenal. The Megaton Hammer, the Fairy Bow, and the Big Oron Sword if you worked for it are all good options here. I love the first half of this fight for forcing the player to complicate the combat with a weapon likely less efficient for the circumstance. It serves to prove that the Master Sword is not what allows Link to vanquish evil, it's his ceaseless courage, the spirit that allowed him to retrieve the spiritual stones and reach the Master Sword in the first place, and the willingness to keep fighting even without it. Ruins litter the battlefield, and darkness surrounds the combatants. Fire is spread around the fallen castle, putting a barrier between Link and Zelda. In this dusk setting, the fire provides the perfect slight illumination to highlight Ganon's hulking figure. Lightning strikes sporadically, allowing the player to get a full glimpse at this horrifying beast. The overwhelming darkness, specifically in the N64 version of Ocarina of Time, truly transcends this boss fight, as it requires the player to have intense courage alongside Link as they dive into this battle and fight against evils that they haven't had the time or ability to fully understand yet. The atmosphere is unparalleled in this boss fight, and is what makes this experience as intense and marvelous as it is. Ganon swings huge golden swords at Link with blows strong enough to decimate the few scattered structures remaining in the arena. When Link gets hit, Zelda lets out a harrowing shriek. There is no certainty here, and even Princess Zelda, holder of the Triforce of Wisdom, is worried that the worst could come at any time. The fate of the entirety of Hyrule is to be decided here, with evil overpowering. Despite this, even Navi, however, will not back down. Link and the player continue in courage. Ganon will not suppress these people any longer, and these heroes are willing to fight to make sure of it. After retrieving the Master Sword and continuing the fight with Ganon, he eventually falters. Zelda seizes this opportunity to hold him down with her power and prepares Link to finish this. With 3 awesome strikes and a plunge deep into Ganon's skull, the fight is over. Zelda calls upon the sages and seals Ganondorf deep into the Sacred Realm, and the rest of the game concludes. This finale to the finale only serves to improve the fight and rewards the player's courage. In total uncertainty, players have to push through and fight anyways, and ultimately they are given the cinematic end that courage deserves. More than in any other game in the series, Ocarina of Time makes it feel like you really overcame evil and brought Hyrule back to peace. In an interview discussing Ocarina of Time's development, character designer Satoru Takizawa says that Ganondorf was always meant to assume his pig-like beast form by the end of the game. While the Gerudo King is a very compelling villain and is cool in his own right, including Beast Ganon was certainly the right call. Ganon was always portrayed as a relentless, power-hungry evil in the games preceding Ocarina of Time, so for Ganondorf to use the Triforce of Power to change forms into Ganon out of desperation was the perfect character decision. Collectively, all of these noted features and the flow of this final battle work together to make it my favorite in all of gaming. The dusk arena, hopeless atmosphere, and overwhelming sense of courage coming from pushing past all of it makes it the ultimate ending to the story of Ocarina of Time. Link is the characterization of courage in these games, but his heroic feats and unrelenting willpower come from you, the player. Even in the dark, scary moments, never stop fighting. Now that the Ocarina of Time remake has been announced in a recent Nintendo Direct, it's nice to see that this amazing finale is respected and seemingly deemed as important in recent Zelda content, such as with the recent LEGO set. My only hope is that it's adapted in a way that retains the features that make it such an awesome experience. The 3DS remake of Ocarina of Time made this boss fight far too bright in my opinion. Only getting glimpses of Ganon during short strikes of lightning enhances his fearsome stature and his hideous face. I can imagine that in high definition, this darkness could make him an even more horrifying foe. Ultimately, this ground-up remake will certainly make a substantial change or two to the way that this final battle goes, but I trust that the Zelda team will excel as always and somehow manage to turn this perfect final sequence into something still frightening that exudes a feeling of courage for players to enjoy. The important thing is not to make players feel necessarily powerful or even chosen for this fight. They should feel courageous, like they're jumping into something that is much bigger than them. Okay, I know I've talked for a while now, but at the time of recording this, Nintendo just recently released the aforementioned crossover set with LEGO, showcasing this epic final battle. Personally, I've never been the biggest LEGO fanatic, but I'm obviously a big fan of this boss fight, and I'd been working on this video just as I found it in store, so yesterday, after finishing the script for this video, I had to buy this set and build it. In the beginning of the instructions manual, there's a passage detailing the importance of the finale, not only for Ocarina of Time's sake, but for gaming as a whole, and I wanted to share it here just to wrap things up with the words Nintendo uses to summarize this important historical gaming event. It reads, "A defining battle. Transitioning the Legend of Zelda series from 2D into fully realized 3D environments allowed for more complex gameplay, perhaps most notably in the climactic final battle between Link and Ganondorf. Framed as a confrontation between light and shadow, the showdown unfolds in phases, across changing stages, causing Ganon's castle to collapse and eventually culminating in Link's victory. The battle sequences integrate strategy, quick thinking, and timed sequences, which require players to consider and adapt to each stage of the fight. The gameplay at the end of Ocarina of Time, heavy on adaptation for the first half of the battle, is also an important component of what makes this finale so engaging. While I mainly focused on the atmosphere the arena and Ganon's design offer, the gameplay is ultimately how the player's courage is carried out. With the upcoming remake, there are bound to be major gameplay changes, so it'll be interesting to see how this boss fight stays engaging through gameplay and implements the lack of the Master Sword through the first half of the fight. Thank you for watching. This is the first video I'm uploading on this channel, and it's the first time I've done anything like this, so I'll be surprised if anybody out there even hears this part anytime soon, but if you're out there, then thank you. I hope to upload more videos about the Zelda series soon, and I'm excited for the future of the series and its 40th anniversary. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you didn't, and leave a comment with any points or critiques that you have for me. I'd love to read what you have to say. Have a good night.